We now return to Mega March.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mega March. Today on Ramblin Reploids, we are discussing the worst bosses, worst boss fights, maybe bad design. I don't know where we're going with this, but this was another request by The Real Zero, so thank you for supporting the channel, and if you want your own video topic, just join the AA rank. Anyway, today I'm joined, as always, with Twitch from Reploid REVO.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
And brand new to the Rambles is ShadowRockZX. Thank you so much for coming.
No problem, dude. Howdy, folks.
All right, now that we're going, let's just jump right in, and I'll start us off. And it's probably one that's on all of our list. Infinity Maginian. Just anybody?
Oh god, that was on the list actually too.
Oh man.
You know, I didn't think of him. It's funny because like as we're having this conversation, I feel like I'm gonna be like, oh, that's right, I do hate him more.
Well, that's why there's three of us.
Yeah, you know what? Exactly. So we're gonna get a wide spectrum of boss fights that we absolutely hate, and I feel like there's definitely going to be some overlap. So even if things aren't on our list, I'm fairly certain we can all agree that we hate these bosses.
Oh yeah.
Unanimously.
6 and X7.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, Infinity Maginian is by far the worst. Like, okay, annoying voice, annoying fight. You know, he just doesn't take any damage. His weakness doesn't do anything to him. Which we've discussed before.
It's true. You can't even hit him with it, and even if you do, it's like a miracle.
Yeah, and it just does like a amount of damage.
Yeah, not worth the too much effort for too little reward.
And then it becomes a bullet hell, you know?
Yeah.
It does. I think I remember beating him. Forget what I used. I think it was Zero, and I just like spammed Zero's. What's that spinny move? The spin to win pizza cutter move that he does?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think I spammed that, and that's how I ended up beating him or something, because I couldn't do it as X. It was just too difficult.
Yeah, I'll either do pizza cutter or I'll get right up in him and just shoot the Z Buster.
Yeah, you know, I always forget that you can do that, because I'm always like, man, the Z Buster in X6 and X5 really stinks. But then, like, in X6, apparently I found out it works like a shotgun, which I'm not entirely certain was
it's good
intentional.
In X6.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was intentional or not, though, only because there's so many things in X6 that are not intentional that are beneficial to the player, like straight up guard shell, you know, for Zero. That's
or
not,
the
you know,
invincibility bug.
that makes me wonder if you shoot. This is just a slight tangent since we're on the Z Buster, and I don't know when this will come up. If you put the Buster inside of an enemy and shoot it, it does like a ton of damage because they take damage on like every frame that the bullet is like being shot. There's a power-up chip that you can give to Zero and X, which makes you only fire full charge shots for a short while. And if you use Zero's Buster, he shoots off like 9 or 10 shots in a row. I'm like, I wonder, can you stack the damage like with that? You know, if you just get the Buster up inside someone and you do that, that makes me wonder how effective that is.
Viewers at home, help us.
Yeah, someone calculate the damage on that, or does like the invulnerability frames activate? I don't know.
The game just turns off, shrink wraps itself, and goes back to the store.
Yeah, exactly. You what it does is it unlocks the good ending for X5, where you fire neither the laser or launch the shuttle, and Eurasia just stays in place. These are top secret, secret cutscenes you guys are hearing to hear from a reliable source.
Source, just trust me.
ShadowRockZX has attached his name to this, so that's how you know it's true. So Infinity Maginian, bullet hell. Yeah, I can completely agree. He just gets worse and worse.
It just keeps cloning himself.
It's too bad we can't use any of those guard shell glitches or anything on him.
Yeah, well, you can't even use guard shell on him, period.
With X, it just kind of like, never mind. Never mind.
Because it only shoots in those corners, and then he never crosses in front of the bullets. Or when you do, the bullet is so slow it never like quite touches him. You know what I mean? Like, it's just terrible.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, that's Maginian for you.
That's Maginian.
He's got an interesting level gimmick, at least.
Yeah,
but the boss fight
you know.
is just poo-poo butter.
Yeah, it really is.
Too easy.
They call him an Infinity Maginian, but he's really more like Infinity Frustration because he just oof.
I think most of these on the list are gonna be frustrating.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true. Actually, now that you mention it, high max, more like high frustration, high annoyance.
We'll get to him.
or like a max waste of my time.
Ooh.
Or hi, go away.
What? Nice.
Leave me alone. I'm sleeping.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah.
Dang,
man,
bro.
I thought about that one hard.
Ooh. Anyways.
Yeah. Let's get away from Maginian. Who wants to go next?
I would like to list mine. Now, I don't know, are we limiting this to X series only?
Oh, anything.
Okay, because I
Bring it on.
only really have one from classic Mega Man, and I'm not gonna say Yellow Devil because everyone already knows Yellow Devil is a pain in the tuchus. I am gonna go with Airman though, and not to be like, haha, I can't defeat Airman, but like I really hate fighting Airman. This is just me personally. Part of it is because in order to actually dodge his wall of tornadoes, you need to perform like the shortest of short hops, and if you don't do it quite right, like you have to go between, like it's just one block tall that you need to slide through. It's so hard. I hate it. If Mega Man had like a slide, like from 3, maybe you could go under some of them.
Well,
but
that's one reason he's a fun fight in 2 for the Game Boy, because you can slide.
Yeah, and they had just that tiny little extra, layer of depth, and it just seems to change everything. Like, there's nothing more satisfying than sliding underneath a boss attack, because it feels really nice. But in Mega Man 2, he just shoots like a wall at you, and I know you're supposed to jump over it, but like, I always jump too high, or I don't jump high enough and then land on the tornado, and it's like, man, I just need like a few more pixels of clearance, and this would actually be like decent. And it's a pain for me because even if you try to brute force it, you will eventually die because if you can't dodge the attack, he'll just do it enough times until you die, and it'll kill you faster than you can kill him. So you do need to dodge it like at least once or twice. Like if you're lucky and you get
egging him, then yeah.
Yeah, exactly. With Leaf Shield, it's a little different, but I don't know.
Yeah, with Leaf Shield, you just tank damage, walk up to him, jam leaves in his fan, and then walk away.
That's my pick though. I just feel like Airman is more frustrating than he's worth. Although we did get an excellent song out of it.
I was about to say, yeah, we got a cool song.
Yes, we did.
So what I'm trying to say is Airman blows.
Sure does. I also wanted to mention that Airman does have one pattern that you can't dodge no matter what you do, so it really is like a test of endurance.
Is there really a pattern that you can't dodge? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think I've seen the one you're talking about.
Have you watched Roman Mithril?
No.
He does perfect runs on Mega Man, and in his Airman video, he talks about how if he gets that one pattern that you can't dodge, he has to reset because you can't dodge it.
That really sucks.
Just start with Airman.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you would. That would make the most sense to just start with him. It reminds me of I was reading. I don't know if it's on Cutting Room Floor or some other website, but they were listing all the impossible stages in Mega Man that you literally cannot beat if certain conditions are met. Like if you play Mega Man 1 and get to Wily's castle without collecting the magnet beam, you're stuck there forever because you can't go back to the stage select after you start the Wily castle, and you need magnet beam in order to complete it. So,
oh man. Or what about in Mega Man 3? It's in one of the Doc Robot levels. It's after the first boss, and then there's like a little ledge, and you have to use rush to get over it. But if you're out of rush energy, there's nothing there to kill you. And there's, you can't do anything. You're just stuck.
It's just like a soft lock then.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's terrible. Yeah, I know X6 is particularly egregious for those kind of things. Like when you said
at least on that one you can go back.
Well, yeah, at least you can go back. But on a blind playthrough, it's like a good punch in the nuts when you get all the way through the stage just to find out, haha, you can't. Yeah, it really is. Like one time I thought I was such a smarty pants by going through the stage as like Shadow Armor X, and I'm like, I did it. I actually managed to do it. Incredible. And then I get to that part where you need to slide down the ledge on the right and air dash underneath it, and I can't, because you can't air dash as the shadow armor. And also, if you try to dash from underneath on the left side, you'll hit your head on the ceiling and then fall down, and so it's impossible to actually do it. And I was just so frustrated.
I've heard that you can actually do it, but it's so pixel perfect, it's not even worth.
Yeah, exactly. I remember trying for hours and I gave up.
Be like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Which stinks
like,
because...
Oh, well, I thought you would have the jumper and the dash part. It's like, no.
Yeah, with certain items equipped, it is possible, but if you don't have those items equipped, it's not. And it really stunk because, like, the shadow armor, I feel like, was almost designed to take down Hymax because it's so easy to use against him, at least in my opinion.
In general. With all the spikes.
With all the spikes. So you would think, like, aha, see, this is a bit of you know, strategy from the level designers who are saying, like, well, let's see, we put an armor in this game that's immune to spikes. Maybe this will encourage people to go and use that armor, and then you do, and then it's like a big slap in the face when they're like, haha, I can't do this now, nerd.
Yeah, I really like to think that the zero portion of Gate 2 and the X portion were like switched up, because Zero could be able to do that no problem, because he can air dash, you know, from default. And the zero thing is the crusher room, and X wouldn't have a problem there. So I really feel like it got mixed up.
It's possible. I mean, we've talked to I've talked to Lord Saturn on Twitter a bit. He does these fantastic pieces of sprite artwork and things. And I was joking with him as he was laying out a map for like all the key locations in Mega Man as shown by the stage select screens. We were having a good laugh when we noticed that in X6 all the stage markers don't make any sense. Like if you highlight the Amazon for Commander Yamark, the marker for it is like in the middle of the ocean somewhere. Like it's not in the Amazon at all. Like same thing with Inami Temple, which is very clearly supposed to be in Japan. It's just located in like Russia somewhere. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's all mixed up and none of it lines up with any real world location. And it almost seems like they just placed them like just as placeholders to make them work, and then forgot to move them where they're supposed to be. But in other games, yeah, exactly. But like in other games like Mega Man 8, they're where they're supposed to be. So like Tengu Man, which does take place in Japan, it's located on Japan. So it seems like for X6 they just gave up on that one and just did whatever. So I don't know. It wasn't a lot of forethought going into that game.
No.
A lot of sixth thought.
Going back to Shadow Armor though, when I said that I heard it was impossible, I was meaning without the parts. If you got like jumper or hyper dash or something, you can do it. I've actually beat it at stage with Shadow Armor.
I have done it with I don't remember. I have done it with no chip parts to like boost your speed or whatever by doing like an actual dash jump from the left side to the right side. But it is infinitely easier if you slide down and then just air dash, you know. But I couldn't do it with the Shadow Armor though, because number one, you can't slide down, and then number two, in order to get onto the correct pixel on the left side to jump under the ceiling, since you can't slide, you have to let go and then like press left again to like cling to the wall and hope that you've landed on the correct pixel, and it's just so difficult.
Yeah, it's too silly for its own good.
Yeah, just forget it.
Just use the blade armor.
Just use the blade armor.
Well, personally, whenever I beat X6, I always used the Shadow Armor until recently.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, until I learned how broken Zero was.
Oh yeah, Zero was super fun in X6.
That's what I hear too. I used to use the Shadow Armor constantly with Rapid Fire turned on, because you could just, you know, just machine gun everything on the stage. But then I looked up what Guard Shell does, and I'm like, why wouldn't I just use the one-shotting thing? Just slice through everything like butter. This is so easy. Oh my god.
Alright.
Well, you know, I forgot what boss we're talking.
Airman. Yeah, we keep jumping back to X. You know what? I'm gonna take my number 2 and I'm gonna move it to the end of my list, because I feel like we're gonna stick on X6 for too long. So that's my hint.
Well, I know what it is now.
That's my hint for what that boss is.
I guess
Shadow
since
Rock, what you got?
yeah, since it's my turn, we're gonna get away from X6 for sure and go to Battle Network.
Oh, nice.
My first Battle Network is Drillman EXE from Battle Network 3. So this guy, when he starts the battle, he just goes he goes, "My people need me, I must go," and he just flies off the stage. And then all of a sudden, these holes open up and these drills start coming at you real fast. And the only way you can hurt them is because sometimes you come out of one of the holes, you gotta smack them with a wide range attack, like a light sword or something. Like, you gotta time your attacks basically, but it's so annoying to actually hit him. And, there's some ways to kind of cheese the fly, like if you area grab and do plasma and just chain lock him like that. But that fight sucks if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning experience after you die the first few times. You're like, all right, I don't even care about beating him fair and square. How do I cheese this?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't played it, but just from that small description, it sounds like, just exactly,
Yep. It's like if he, if he goes to his people, you let him do that, the fight's gonna be a nightmare.
I don't remember that fight specific. I haven't played Battle Network in forever, but I have beaten 1 through 3. But when I think of annoying Battle Network fights, Magic Man from Battle Network 1 always pops to mind, and I had a harder time beating Magic Man than I did the final boss. I don't know why Life Virus was easier for me to beat than Magic Man, but something about him was just so difficult, and I remember getting really, really mad fighting Magic Man. But I don't even remember the specifics of that fight. All I know is that he was a real pain in the ass.
He summons viruses. They're annoying to deal with.
That might have been it. Something I remember I had a couple of chips, now that you mention it, and I remember the viruses would absorb the attack instead of him, and I got so mad.
Yeah. He just sits in the back and lets his viruses do the work most of the time.
Oh, what a jerk.
He is a jerk.
He's a true final boss.
Yeah, honestly. Like, don't you hate that when there's, like, a game and, like, the boss... Like, a boss somewhere in the middle of the game is harder for you than, like, any other one? Like, the final boss is easy, but the mid-boss is the one that, like, actually makes it difficult for you.
Yeah.
That's true.
I hate when that happens. I played a game not that long ago. I wish I could remember which one it was, but I remember having this exact talk with myself. I'm like, no, why was that guy so difficult, but the final boss was so easy?
Yeah, why wasn't he the last boss?
Yeah, why didn't you put him at the end? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Drillman EXE, just full of holes. What a jerk. I don't know, like, I mean, which game did you say that was from?
Battle Network 3.
3, okay. I'll have to keep my eyes peeled, because I'm gonna get on those games one day, and
there's a lot of Mega Man RPGs you need to jump on, or I'm gonna make sure you do it.
I love RPGs.
You need to get into Battle Network, Command Mission, and Legends.
Star Force
2. I never played Star Force, so that's on me.
Oh man. Well, speaking of 3, yes. Okay. All right.
Nice segue.
It's a good one because I'm talking the King Tank from Rockman and Forte.
Ooh.
Like, wow. I'm kind of digging deep because that thing is the worst, and you have to fight him like 3 or 4 times throughout that stage.
And every time you think it's dead, it comes back. Like,
so annoying.
God, especially if you're fighting the one with the platforms as Mega Man, and he throws the fist at you and just starts destroying the platforms. Like, you're done. There's nothing you can do.
Exactly.
Like, as base, it's not too bad, but
yeah.
But it's just like, especially not knowing what to do on that first one, it just has to open a compartment and you have to hit it. Like, how are you supposed to know that? There's no health bar or anything.
Yeah. What do? You don't know. It's just you just hit it.
Yeah, just keep shooting him until he's
just
dead,
do it.
man.
It's fine. Yeah, man. I remember the King Tank being a real pain in the ass. What I thought was, I mean, it's a great concept, but what bothered me is that you would destroy each half of it, and then it would combine into like a Voltron that you need to go fight at the end. But what bugged me is like, well, didn't I destroy the upper and lower halves already? How is this still functioning? Come on.
He has several tanks.
He probably does just have several, so.
I mean, it worked. They're
Instead of-
super hard and annoying.
Yeah. It's in a line of dialogue I skipped. Oh, you fool, Mega Man. I have 30,000 of these tanks ready to go.
It was actually in the manga that was unreleased, but it's still canon according to me.
Yeah, they explained it in Rockman and Forte for WonderSwan. That's the
Challenges
version.
from the future.
Yeah, Challenger
That one?
from the future. Challenger of Days Future Past with a twist of lemon.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't have much to say about King Tank aside from just fight King Tank and you'll understand. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Pretty
one of
much,
those
yeah.
types of bosses.
Just,
Uh,
yeah.
As a personal story, this is a little of a behind-the-scenes ShadowRockZX thing, but Hero Azure and I were trying to do a Mega Man and base playthrough, probably for the 11 Road 2, but it just didn't happen because of King playing. Like,
Oh, man.
we spent
Ugh.
like maybe an hour trying to beat that fight alone. It's like, come on.
That's kind of how I feel when I play the first Wily stage in Mega Man 8. Like, I love the game all the way up to that point, but the sled segment in Wily Stage 1 kills the run for me. And I'm like, I've gotten past it before in previous playthroughs via some miracle, and then I can beat the rest of the game no problem. Like, I can actually do that. But I can't get to the rest of the game because that stage is just like a wall to me, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Gotta work on jump slides.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you know what? They give you signs that tell you what to do, and if I can't do it, then I guess I just don't deserve to beat the game. Obviously, I'm at fault for not following the directions being shouted at me from a spinning, flashing sign.
Slide.
How nice of Wily to provide those, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
you know, he's not just because he's in a techno-towering castle doesn't mean he's evil.
Yeah,
Well,
he's not.
I mean,
He's
King
not
Kong
heartless,
evil.
but he is
Yeah,
evil.
there you go.
Oh gosh. I want to say what my number. Well, I guess now it's my number 2 because I moved it. But I'm actually going to combine these next two into one, just because the complaints I have about one are pretty much the complaints I have about the other. So I'll just say them both the same as like one thing. Absolutely screw X3 Final Sigma and X4 Final Sigma. I hate them.
I've seen you against X4 Final Sigma.
I hate an X3 Final Sigma isn't the worst. I'm gonna say that one's easier, but I hate that fight because the only thing you can really hit is quote unquote Sigma's head. But you don't have to. You're not supposed to aim at his head. You're actually supposed to aim at this vent thingy. But the head is what flashes. So if you're not paying attention to where you aimed, you might see the head flashing and be like, "Oh, I gotta shoot him in the head." Okay. But, like, that's not what you're supposed to do. Like,
can I tell you, like, a super easy way to cheese that boss?
Oh,
Especially
by
if
all
you have the
means.
well,
If it's the saber, forget it, because I've one-shotted him with the saber.
Well, just if you have the saber and how to hit him 100% consistently, if
Okay.
you just stand right in front of him and jump and just swing your saber at the apex of the jump, it'll hit him. Like,
Really?
it's the perfect height, yeah. And you can do that with charge shots, too.
Oh, that's
Just
crazy.
Just stand right there and just... As high as the jump goes, then just let the shot go.
Well,
So,
there you go.
There's a pro tip, but with X4 Sigma, like, you just got to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the problem with X4 Sigma is not so much that it's like... I personally, I think it's a little bullcrap, because he keeps summoning all these things, and he throws you all around the room, and, like, you're pretty much at his mercy in that chamber. But even if you do figure out what you're doing, the fight just takes forever. Like... no matter what you use on him, if it's like your charge shots or if you use like his weakness, I can't visibly tell the difference between hitting him with a charge shot and hitting him with a weakness. It looks like it does the same damage, and it's not like the weakness makes it easier to hit him or like has any sort of effect on him. It just does like an extra pixel. So it's like it just takes too long, and it's tedious, and I feel like it drags out an otherwise epic game, because it's like, oh, this is a cool fight, look at all this stuff, whoa, Reaper Sigma, oh my god, he turned into Jorgen von Strangle, and now he's throwing his scythe, and it's awesome, and then...
For round 2?
Yeah, and then round 2, sure, but not round 3, because round 3 is like, we're gonna give you 2 versions of Sigma, and you need to beat each one, and we're also going to make them impossible to hit, and then when you do hit them, we're only going to have it do a pixel of damage. And you just wash, rinse, and repeat for like 30 minutes. Like, come on! I know it's faster with 0, because you can, like, Saber Dash cancel, but with X, it's so tedious. In my opinion, anyway.
Personally, I don't find X4 Final Sigma be hard at all, especially now that I learned. Like, the things he summons isn't a big deal. The most BS attack he has is when he summons the head, and he just sucks you in.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really hard to deal with that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's fine.
He's not impossible. He's just tedious, and that's what I don't like. Because even if you figure out the pattern, you're like, all right, I figured out the pattern, but now I have to wash, rinse, and repeat this for so long. It's like, can we just get on with it?
Yeah, just if you're playing as X, just start throwing ground hunters and never look back.
Yeah,
that's the way to go.
But I had no idea about the soul body thing.
Yeah. So
from the marathon lately. Thank you.
That was a pro tip I learned from speedrunners, that you, like, when Sigma does the laser attack, that kind of reminds me of Gun to Soul from Hogtie. But when he does the laser attack, you jump off one of the platforms and you just hover with, your armor, and you just let the soul body go and do multiple damage.
I've done that before. I never. It's not a thing you would think to normally do, but then once you do it, you're like. Yeah, and I've done that, I think, once or twice before, and that's how I think the first time I beat Sigma as X. But it's the one that sucks you in with the heads and the spikes and all that stuff. That's the one that really... that one tends to trip me up a bit, but the gun Sigma, I don't know, Sniper Sigma, whatever you want to call him, that one is easier once you realize, oh yeah, I can hover in place for like 4 to 5 seconds, and then just let a constant hitbox sit on his face,
Man, I never considered that. I always just hug the corner and shoot plasma shots.
There's a lot of things that you can do as X. Like, if Sigma... Like, I even forgot to do this the last time you saw me play X4. When you're fighting Jorgen von Strangle Sigma, and he does the laser eyes, or, like, the electricity's going along the floor, you can jump and hover and pretty much just ignore him, because nothing will hit you.
Yeah.
Because you'll just hover there, and like the attacks will just go under your feet. And I never
hover.
Yeah, I never think to use the hover because it's so like unimpressive looking at first, but it's so useful. I've done that against General before. I've hovered right in his face and just fired at him repeatedly until it ran out.
Like, when I first got the 4th armor, I'm like, wow, this hover is kind of pointless. Why does this exist? But then you find out there are some places that it's very useful, especially like an X challenge. There's some places where you can use it there too.
Yeah, it's interesting, which is interesting because it's like, it's not a double jump, but there are times where you want to suspend where you are in the air and just stay there so that you don't have to realign yourself, which is like, oh, I suddenly see the merit in this. I think it's interesting they balanced it so that if you move, you can only hover forward for like, I don't know, a few pixels. So I guess it's balanced by that, but when you hover in place, if you can position yourself with a good jump, you can just sit there and shoot at something that you otherwise wouldn't be able to reach and just lay on the constant damage. Because the boss fights are not revolving around... They're not thinking that you're going to hover, because they're not built that way. They're building them around like traditional ground-based movement. But once you realize you can just hover in place, I mean, it's game over. It's kind of like if you gave the Falcon armor the ability to shoot while hovering. It'd be even more broken. So you get like a little taste of that with the 4th armor.
Modders, get on that now.
Yes. Give us the ability to shoot while hovering in the Falcon armor and just completely break the game.
You just make a shmup out of it.
You really could.
Just do like how like Kirby does, and it just becomes like a shoot 'em up level just for a second.
I was really shocked when I found out the Falcon armor can just infinitely fly. That kind of seems broken in and of itself.
The Falcon armor is so much fun just to play through levels.
Yeah,
it is.
Actually, it's my favorite armor.
Yeah.
Get a nice figure of it.
I was just gonna say that. I can't wait till that comes out. I'm gonna have to pick that up.
Instant pre-order.
I'm gonna have to put that next to my True Force X and see what they look like comparatively. I'm hoping they have the same scale, because I know they're not
True Force
made.
Doesn't go with anything.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping that if Realbot's doing it, because I have another Realbot figure that they made of a, it's Blodia from Cyberbots. I don't know if anyone out there knows that game, but it's great. So I'm hoping that they have the foresight to make Falcon Armor X about the same scale as True Force X, because even though True Force no longer has the license with Capcom, it's the same style of design, and so it would be great if those two could kind of like line up together, so that you can be like, look, I have True Force X, and then I got, you know, True Force Falcon Armor X. We're all gonna keep calling it True Force X, but that's not really what the design is called.
Yeah.
But still, like, that's, you know, it's really a shame what happened to True Force, because they made such an excellent figure. I'm really disappointed that they haven't made anything else yet.
Where's my Ride Chaser, dude?
Yeah, I want the Ride
The
Chaser.
Ride Chaser.
I know, I have the X7 Ride Chaser from Jazzwares when it came bundled with Axel, and the True Force fits on that thing really nicely. So I want to take mine and give it a nice coat of paint and make it look really spiffy, and then put True Force X on there, and I think it'd be good. Nice blue and white with some gold trim paint job would look really sick on that thing.
Yeah. Well, when you do it, you know, we have a space on the Discord for toys. So
I'll definitely be. Are you kidding me? I would not be able to shut up about it once I'm done. I'd be painting model kits right now if I wasn't in the middle of a move, but that's for another day.
You change the YouTube channel name to I painted a Ride Chaser. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Reploid REVO.
Look at this. Look at how cool it is. That's the name of my channel.
Yeah, just look at this.
Look at this.
What exactly is Ride Chaser?
Awesome. I mean, that'll be a thing. I have a What Is series as opposed to my Who Is series, so that'll probably become a thing sooner or later.
All right. Future looks bright.
I know, right? Who was next, actually? I got lost as to who spoke last.
ShadowRock is up.
Alright. I'll do another Battle Network one. Shademan from Battle Network 4. So, this guy really sucks because... yeah, I know. So, anyways, he sucks because, like Mega Man himself says, after the first fight of him, like shadow boxing. You shoot him, he disappears, and then he comes back in another spot.
Oh, okay.
No, so you can't really do anything to him the first couple times you fight him. You have to kill him with the dark chip. But when you find him again randomly on the internet to do his EX or SP versions, you hit him, and he splits into all these bats. And you gotta find out which of those bats are actually him. And that's the only way you can do damage to him.
Is there any indication as to which cluster of bats or which bat is hit? It's just random?
Yeah, it's random. Dude.
Oh, see, okay, that's about the time when I would equip like a comet or something and just nuke the other field until he's dead.
You just gotta rely on wide range attacks or
hit them all at the same time or something. Yeah. Man, that's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why for the longest time I never completed Battle Network 4 because that sucks.
Well, it's Battle Network 4. We don't talk about Battle Network 4.
That's true too.
Fun. You know. Oh, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Another fun fact actually is there's a Giga chip in Battle Network 4 that you can only get from in Battle Green Mystery Data with a boss. There's two bosses that it applies to. The first one is Laser Man. The second one is Shade Man.
Oh.
Why? And the bats can destroy it.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah. That reminds me. I played Battle Network 4 once. Someone had let me borrow their game. And they're like, I'm not going to play this again. You can have it. So I was like, all right, thank you. I appreciate it. So I was playing through Battle Network 4, and I remember blowing through the game. Like, I didn't even realize it, but over the course of, like, I don't know, just like a few days, I was going through the game with exceptional speed. And then, just out of curiosity, I kept saying, like, all right, so, like, when does the story pick up? When does the game get, like, really good? You know, because usually there's, like, a cool moment that happens and, like, you know, whatever. So, some cool inciting moment that sets off, like, the main plot of the game. And I had been playing, and I'm just kind of like, all right, okay, nothing's happening yet, but I'm sure it's coming. The good part of the game is coming. So out of curiosity, I looked up a strategy guide on GameFAQs, and I Googled, I like did a Control F for like what boss I was fighting, and it was the final boss. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm on the final boss? Like, I was so mad because I'm like, the good part never came. There is no good part. Battle number 4 sucks. I was so mad, and it really stinks because it kind of felt like a slice of life game. Like, you were just going through the daily happenings of like Len and Mega Man, and that's fine. If I knew that's all it was going to be going in, I would have changed my mindset. But when I played it, I was just kind of like, I don't know. Like, the most fun I had was the date with Mail, and I'm like, that's cute. There's some funny dialogue there, like, where Lan's like, well, I did learn one thing about girls. Going on dates is expensive, or something like that. Like, that was kind of funny. But other than that, I'm like, when do I get to the good part of the game? Oh, this is the good part of the game. I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what happened to me, so...
The good part is when it says presented by Capcom.
Yeah. Special thanks, all Capcom staff and you. But, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure 4 has some good qualities to it, but it just didn't sit well with me. 3 is peak Battle Network, in my opinion. I love 3 the most.
Well, if you like replaying Battle games over again, 4 is your game.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh god, that was a mess.
I guess
Also,
I'll get there eventually.
yeah. I also wanted to mention though, Shane Man, I believe you can attack him with the Gun to Soul and the Power Driver, in case like anyone in the comments is like, oh, but you can do this.
Yeah. If you hit him with the, what is it, did you say Gun to Soul or whatever? That makes sense given like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
Quest about it, so.
Yeah, so that makes perfect sense if you ask me. I think it's funny that of all things, Boktai and Battle Network kind of had their weird moment in the sun, no pun intended.
Oh, okay. Alright, you caught it.
Yeah. I mean, no pun intended, but it was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can take that one to the bank. I like it.
I will.
Alright. Well, we've alluded to it before. Let's talk about Hymax.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, no! The only thing that gets high around Hymax is my blood pressure. This bull.
God. Okay, well, I've always wanted to talk about this, and this is the only time I will probably ever be able to, unless it's like an X6 stream or something. But when he does his like normal, you know, thing, and you don't damage him, and he swoops across the screen, like I always, you know, being a kid from the South that's had no exposure to anything, like it just sounded like he was like going, like he was about to swear, like he was like, you mudda, you know, and then it like cuts off. I was always like, why is he so mean to me? I'm like, hey,
oh my god. Yeah, it's not until like you really stop and think about it with like a proper anime antagonist mentality that you realize what he's saying. He's
like, oh, he's saying that it's useless.
Yeah,
okay,
Budada.
It's no use.
Yeah, I would. You know what? Can someone mod X6 and stick in Silver's voice lines for Hymax? I would love that. Every time he throws a death ball at you, I want him to go, "It's no use. It's no use." When he slams into you, great. You know, just please for maximum annoyance. I need that.
That was a high tier joke.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, like, I hate when you fight Nightmare Zero and then you end up in another thing. Let's say you haven't beaten another stage yet, but you're in another nightmare area. Now you're fighting Hymax. You probably have 9 lives, and you can't do damage to him.
I had that happen to me the first time I played X6. I remember getting really frustrated and very confused as to why I could not hurt him. You know, and I have to die 9 times. All my progress is just gone.
if you could just use the escape unit, like no matter what in the
or have
areas,
the game
sure.
detect if you have any weapons, and then swap Dynamo out or something. You know, put him in there.
Yeah, do Dynamo, but don't give him the Nightmare Soul drops. You know,
something like there's
just to make
little,
it so you can't exploit it.
Little things that you could, yeah, exactly. Little things that you could do to kind of to tidy up X6. High Max being one of them.
I think the thought was, oh well, they've beaten one level, so surely they have a weapon, you know. But
surely
you didn't beat the Maverick, you beat 0, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ooh. I love that stupid noise he makes. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's the best part.
Yeah.
If you get the Nightmare 0 model, just please take a picture and post that soundbite. I want to know why he's allergic to the Z-Saber. I think it's funny. You hit him with it, and he's like, "Oh!"
No, you hit him with it, and then you like just conveniently stubs his toe.
I'm kind of curious why when X uses the Z-Saber on him, that's his weakness. But when if you somehow like fight him with 0, which I don't think is normally possible, but
no, it's not.
If you do fight him with regular 0, it doesn't have the same reaction. It's like
it's because 0 has a different saber in X6.
I guess so, but I mean, like, just as a failsafe.
Because that's his animation set. That's what's hurting.
I think the thought was that it's literally the ghost of 0, so when X is using 0 saber, he's like, hey, remember this?
Yeah. It's almost as if to say, like, you're just a fake, see? The real 0 wouldn't make this stupid sound.
You're the faker!
I found faker.
You're not good enough to be my fake.
You're that fake Reploid.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Freaking... Yeah, so Nightmare 0 is definitely not one of the hardest bosses out there, but it's probably one of the most annoying.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, just the fact that you can run into High Max and then just be in an unwinnable situation is just poo-poo butt.
Oh, well, don't you know? It's just to emphasize how strong he is.
Oh god, just die once and it drains all your lives.
Or some, yeah, like it takes you out and then it can play like a little cutscene where, you know, X is like, what happened? And Illya's like, you encountered High Max. He's extremely powerful. Like, you know, something like that.
You encountered Batman, High Max.
Yeah, exactly. Don't make you, you know, be forced to relive the same futile experience the whole over and over again. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it takes forever to kill you too, because he just sits there like, oh, this bull. Okay, let me go move to the other side of the screen. This bull. All right, hold on, I'll be right back.
I also hate his gimmick that you have to hit him with a special weapon, and then you can hit him with a charge shot. That always bugged me because I'm like, no, hold on a minute. So you mean to tell me that these random weapons, for lack of a better term, inferior weapons picked up from random Mavericks that you're fighting at the time, are the only things that can weaken him, but not the legendary X-Buster or Z-Saber. Those things...
Well, it's because those were from his buddies, and he's like, these guys will never hurt me, I'm High Max.
That's the only thing that I can think of, is that he's somehow, like, intrinsically connected to those Mavericks, so that, you know, researchers, so that, when you beat them, like, maybe somehow their weapon, like, stuns him, which opens him up for damage. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't see anything happen when you hit him with those weapons that would be, like... Because when you normally hit him, I believe he puts up, like, a shield or something, doesn't he? Like, it makes, like, a force field.
Those, like, yellow force field barrier things.
Yeah, and...
that's what the special weapon breaks, and then you can... You know, then you ain't no mutta. You know, you can...
Yeah, then it's no longer Mudada, and you can actually hit him.
Right.
I don't know. Just kind of seems like a bunch of extra steps just to hit him with a charge shot.
Yeah, like in concept, it's kind of cool that he's like, oh, he's so beefy that you gotta, you know, use strategy that you wouldn't normally use. But in execution, it's like, unless you're 0 and you just use the pizza cutter on him, it's like, oh,
yeah, you can just pizza cutter him over and over again. Exactly. So that, I guess maybe that's why it kind of doesn't sit well with me, because in execution, it's like a little lame. This is how I think it is. I don't know. Just some lore explanation, like, hey, this is why these attacks do that. Like, he's built to be immune to your weapons, so you have to hit him with something else. And then it's like, oh, I get it. Okay, you know. But instead, it just feels like the game piling on more cheapness on top of an already cheap experience.
It just forgot. Like,
they forgot. They don't know.
They forgot to make them vulnerable.
That's how X6 got a lot of its development done. No, they forgot.
But okay, I think the worst part of Hymax is that he's just in any way connected to Gate 2. You know, because anything about Gate 2 is like, I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. You mean the stage Gate 2?
What's that?
You mean the stage Gate 2?
Yes, the stage.
Oh my goodness,
you know,
yeah.
The whole thing is a nightmare.
Oh! he brought it. He took it all the way to the hoop. Slam dunk.
Well,
shatter the backboard.
We were talking about Shadow Armor before and how it kind of breaks that stage, except for the second part. But Shadow Armor also breaks Hymax pretty hard.
Yeah, that's why I used it, and I was like, yes, I did it. I felt like such a badass. I'm like, woo! And then I got to that second part, the devs forgot to make the stage beatable. And I was like, no! After all that hard work.
Yeah, foiled again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's X6 in summary. Foiled again. I'm gonna go get this upgrade capsule found in the museum. Oops, the RNG didn't like me, so I guess I'm not getting it. Foiled again.
Foiled again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if X5 is called Hey Remember That, X6 is called Foiled again.
Yeah, Hymax though, it's not even that it's a really hard fight, it's just tedious. That's all heck.
Oh yeah.
Even when you get the fight down, you hit him, he goes, okay, BRB. And then rinse and repeat for like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Stupid.
That's what I don't like about bosses where... I mean, that's my complaint with X4 Final Sigma, is like, even if you get it down, it's still just a really tedious fight. And I feel like once you figure the pattern out, it should become easier and like go faster.
Yeah, but then if you do one or two false steps like near the end, then you got to do the whole thing over.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Well, that's Hymax.
I don't want to talk about Hymax anymore.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay.
Get out of here, Hymax.
We'll take the high ground.
Yeah, you're low on my priorities list.
And then I say something.
Exactly.
Twitch, what do you got?
Alright, so this next one is, again, not anything that's too crazy, but it's a fight that I know used to cause me a lot of frustration, and that is Jet Stingray from X4.
Alright.
I never really liked Jet Stingray all that much. When you fight him as X, it's a piece of cake. It's really not an issue. When you fight him as Zero, it's a little bit more difficult. And so, Buster only, little difficult, not that bad. But it's those swoops that he does. They're so fast. If you don't guess that he's... Yeah! If you don't guess that he's gonna do it at that exact moment, you're pretty much hit, because it's so fast, you almost don't have the time to jump over it. And that goes for X or Zero, if you're just fighting him without his weakness. That's the thing that bothers me, because it's so fast, there's no telegraph, and sometimes he fakes you out, because he'll sit there for, like, longer than usual, and you're like, is he gonna do it? And then, like, he does something else, and I'm like, oh! Yeah, you never quite know when he's gonna do it. Sometimes he'll finish an attack, and then he just does it immediately. Other times he'll come back down, and then does it again as soon as he lands. But sometimes he'll sit there, and he makes you think about it, like, is he gonna do it? And then he does, like when you least expect it. So that
Stingray, can I borrow a cup of sugar?
Yeah. that particular attack, I think just makes it a little bogus. But even more than that, when you're playing as Zero, and you go to use the ice stab, I forget what it is in Hyoretsu, whatever the heck it is in Japanese. You can't normally hit him with it unless you use like a double jump, but even then you have to get behind him and then do it and kind of ensure that the blade makes contact with his hitbox. But if you slip and like screw up, you'll accidentally like drift into him and like take damage. So you need to be really careful to make sure you don't do that. So even when you're hitting him with his weakness, and he just kind of repeats the same pattern over and over again of he pulls like a spark mandrill. He gets frozen, he goes off screen, comes back, and then you can just repeat it. But if you're not careful, like, you can screw up and slip and hit yourself, and that always frustrated me, because it's like, well, I know what his weakness is, but hitting him with it is another story entirely.
The way that I would do it, I always called it the Battle of the Yaz. Because, you have Zero hugging the wall, and he's like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you just like, if you slide down while he's coming down, and then you can just put the ice blade out for a second, and then just hug the wall back, it'll cancel the ice blade, and then it'll go, yeah! So you get Zero going, yeah! And then, it's so funny.
They're just like really stoked for like the party they're throwing down there in the middle of the ocean. You know,
dude, I brought some bros, they're in my cannon, look at this.
Yeah. The only other thing that I don't like is when he does the dive, when he slides across the ground. The one thing that bugs me, which I wish they would have fixed a little, is I'm pretty sure if you're beneath him when he goes to do the dive, even though he is swooping in like a U shape, you'll still take damage even if you're in the corner, and he should, in theory, go over your head, because his hitbox widens out when he lays down to go do that maneuver.
Oh, yeah, the horizontal ones.
That bugs me, because, like I said, in those instances, the only way to really dodge him is to, you know, jump rope over him, or be on the opposite side of the wall, and, like, you should have enough time to jump over him if you see him coming. Like, that's the kind of thing that bugs me, just that swoop is too fast, and it's not telegraphed, but if they could just telegraph it a little bit, like with an audio cue, or if he like does a different animation, then I feel like the fight would be 100% non-stressful, because that's the one thing that always hits me. Not the little
like
tiny, you know,
flash or something.
You know what? I wonder if in Japanese he had something like he like tells
another voice clip,
like another little voice clip, because a lot of voice clips in the English version are just gone. They cut them out because they didn't want any reference to Japanese, apparently. They're just like, well, if we cut all of these out, no one will know. Like, Split Mushroom has a ton of different voice lines. There's one that they cut out, which I don't understand why. He just says, like, "Sui," like that. And I'm like, why did they cut that out? Yeah, I know, right? He's in a pig calling contest.
Sui?
Yeah, but they cut that out for some reason, and I'm like, that's not even like English or Japanese. Like, that's just a noise.
It's
like,
just a noise.
why would you cut that one out? Like, you know, and I'm pretty sure he does it. I think when he splits, I think that's like when he performs his namesake. I believe that's the sound he makes when he splits into two. I don't know.
Play it in Japanese. It's when I don't think I ever. I think I might have, but I didn't have the volume on.
I gotta go back and play. Anyway, the point is, that's all I got for his.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what? Jet Stingray, double screw Jet Stingray, because he fights you in the stage before you get to him.
Yeah, he's like, you know, I wish taking him out on the bike would have done like a little bit of damage for the fight, or
that would have been cool.
Yeah,
take him, like break his cannon, you know, like his arm cannon.
Something.
You know, just something like neuter his attacks somewhat.
Yeah.
What I did. Continuity.
What I also thought was funny is that it takes forever to kill him if you shoot him. But you can kill him in one shot if you dash on him. Yeah, the blade just,
you
have to like swag on him really hard by doing a wheelie, and then he's like, your style is too much, and he just he dies. You can kill him like seconds when he comes on screen if you're lucky. Like, it's nuts. And so if you hit him like that, forget about it, he's done. But I do agree it should have. It's kind of like in this is a really recent example, I guess, but in Breath of the Wild, you know, when you do all the Guardian stages and stuff, they fire their super lasers and and damage the final version of Ganon and make that fight much easier for you. Not that I think it needs to be that drastic, but you know, if you styled on him so hard in the middle of his own stage that he explodes and falls off screen, I feel like that should like disable one of his attacks or something.
Yeah.
Just something.
It's like you kill him 2 times in that section of the stage. Why is he unscathed when you actually?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the dragon in the opening stage. You know, you can hit his hands and.
Yeah, it has like a health bar, but it doesn't do anything.
Then it doesn't do anything in the fight.
That's funny.
It's just kind of like, look what we can do.
Stupid Oregion.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's mine.
I just realized that was yours, so I just kind of. I didn't bring that one up. So, Mr. ZX, what you got going?
Well, I guess let's keep the Battle Network and Star Force love going. This time I'm going to do a boss for both Star Force 2 and 3. His name is Apollo Flame. He's kind of like the super boss, the post-game final boss of Star Force 2. So, basically, I mean, it's in the name. He's a fire type boss.
No.
He summons. No, right? So he summons these flames from the ground, and they're pretty annoying to deal with by themselves. Think like Nebula Gray final fight where you have those flames coming out of the ground. It's the same kind of thing, but now in Star Force you only have 3 panels to go between. Anyways, the real annoying part of him though is his barrier. So he has a regenerating barrier that you basically gotta buster to get it down, but it comes back after a couple seconds, and you gotta do like multiple damage to take out the barrier because it kind of shrinks in size the more damage it takes. The real annoying part is if you wait more than those 2 seconds to launch your attack, like say you use a time stopping chip and his barrier just regenerated, it's like, well crap, I just wasted that chip or that card rather, because the cards in Star Force.
Right.
Oh, it'll like stop him in the state that he's in.
Right. Yeah.
Oh no.
So,
yeah.
A video I could point you towards is when I fought Apollo Flame DX in my Star Force 2 Let's Play. There was many times where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use a super powerful Giga card. Here we go. Press A. And then you see like the tiniest pixel of the shield that just came back at that moment. It's like, oh god, I just wasted that. No.
Oh man, so even if it just barely came back, it counts as the full thing.
Exactly.
That reminds me of the aura barriers from the earlier Battle Network games. Like when you fight Life Virus, I believe they have an aura barrier of like what is it, like 1,000 damage. So for anyone who doesn't know, in Battle Network there's 2 kinds of barriers. One chip is called Barrier, and it's a shield, and it's basically just additional health on top of your own health. So if you have a barrier of 100 damage, and you're getting picked away at by an attack that only does 1 damage, it'll subtract from that. So now you'll have like a barrier for 99, 98, 97, so on and so forth until it hits 0, and then the barrier is gone. And Aura, on the other hand, is a kind of barrier that will not disappear until you hit the amount of damage that it is marked at. So if you use an aura shield or aura barrier that has 100 damage on it, if you throw an attack at the person using that barrier or using that aura that does 99 damage and not 100, it'll be as if nothing happened at all. They'll just ignore it. And and so Life Virus, I think, has an aura barrier of like 1,000. So that means to even damage Life Virus, you need to hit it with an attack that does 1,000 damage just to open it up to be vulnerable, and then you have to get all your damage in. But it's really difficult to do that in some cases unless like you really prepared properly for the fight. You know, and so I understand your frustration when you're like, hey, I'm going to use this really powerful attack. Oh, wait, the aura regenerated for, like, you know, a fraction of a second, and now everything I'm doing is completely wasted.
Right.
And I hate that.
In Apollo Flame's case, it's not based on damage per se. I think it's based on multi-hits. Because you gotta buster, you know, however many times to shrink it down, but when it's at its smallest size, it's really hard to tell if it's still there or not. So it's very easy to just waste your attacks on, you know, for nothing. Yeah,
that's a real pain in the ass. I have I like playing a game called Warframe, and there are certain characters who have these like skill negating bubbles where if like they enter the area where your skill is, or if you encompass their bubble, it'll like deactivate all of your skills. Their shields are based on hit as well, rather than like damage. So sometimes you'll throw like a really big, powerful attack at them, and like nothing happens. But if you have a rapid fire attack, no matter how weak it is, it'll whittle it down and get rid of it. So sometimes I'll play with 2 weapons. Like one will be high damage, and the other one will be rapid fire, so that when I come across those, I can whittle down the shield really quickly, and then I can hit them with like the actual hard hitting attack.
Yeah, and here's another scary thing about Apollo Flame in the Star Force 3 version, because he comes back. There's a mechanic in Star Force 3 called noise, and once you hit like I think 100% noise, basically you can pierce the invisible state or the iframes. But the thing is, your enemies can pierce your iframes too.
Oh
so
no!
Apollo Flame has those flames going everywhere, and it's hard to dodge. Well, now you can just get interrupted by it during one of your attacks, just because they can pierce your iframes now.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Never interrupt someone's iframes, dude. Those things are vital to people not going completely insane.
Exactly. That fight is insane in Star Force 3.
You never want to play a game where you have low iframes. It drives people up a wall. Like, I remember I played Mega Man X Randomizer, and one of the randomizer things is removes the iframes from bosses, and they become trivial because you can just like peg away at them with anything and they die. Because there's no iframes, like you just damage them infinitely. So I know all about that. You don't go around piercing people's iframes. It's not polite.
No, that's rude, Apollo Flame. You stop that.
Man. So does he when he comes back in part 3? Is he also a super boss, or did he get downgraded to like a regular boss?
He's in the post game still, but
Still
there's a different final boss in the post game. So
Okay, I get you.
yeah, I think it's like the halfway point of that game's post game.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
What a guy.
What a guy. He's quite appalling, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it's not even like it's the worst fight ever. Frustrating and annoying.
Yeah, you don't want to burn yourself out on it.
No.
I'm sorry, I'll stop. Oh.
You know what? You need to quint it.
Oh.
Wait! Quint! What a bad boss fight!
Oh my god. I was not expecting you to go there, but it's totally within what I would expect of you, so good job.
But no, okay, Quint is such a fun design and concept, but...
Yeah, that's a word for it.
Bounces on a stick, throws a rock, and then just dies, basically.
Just dies.
I've captured Mega Man from the future, and I created him robot to you, and he just dies.
Just, oh, never mind.
What I love is that, like, Wily captures Mega Man, reprograms him, and builds him for evil. And the most evil, most powerful thing he could think of was a pogo stick with eyes. Like, meanwhile, I'm looking at Mega Man 7, and, like, you know, there's, like, treble boost bass, and he's got, like, all these wings, and it's super powerful, and rocket fist. And then, like, I just think back and I'm like, there's Quint. And I'm like, is this the same Dr. Wily? You know what? Here's my excuse for that. The future that Quint comes from is a peaceful future, so maybe that's all he had on hand. You know, so maybe he's like, alright, what is the most deadly thing that you have in this time period? A pogo stick. People seem to fall off of these, you know, all the time. And sometimes they get ouchies. Perfect, I'm gonna go slap a pair of angry eyes on it and stick a spike on the bottom.
Oh no.
That's all he could do. That's my new headcanon for why Quint is awesome, but also kind of pathetic, is that in his peaceful future, that was the most deadly thing he can come up with, a jackhammer pogo stick.
Not the pogo stick.
No!
You get it, and it's supposed to be Wily's weakness, and it just falls through. Like,
yeah.
It, like, kills you first.
You would think that would be perfect to use on his head, and then, because, you know, that's where you gotta hit him, but nope. It's the same guy who made Topspin not really work the way it should. Thank you, Mega Maker, for fixing it. Now Topspin, if you use it, basically turns you into, like, Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
You know,
on
it's great.
On Maker.
Yeah, and Mega Maker.
Yeah.
Topspin basically, yeah, just whoa, 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 just you know, run into everything. I made a stage. I mean, I'm sure it's been done, but I made a stage using nothing but Topspin as your main weapon, and you had to, like, you know, bounce off of stuff and basically do like Sonic the Hedgehog style, like, enemy bounces to get from place to place. It was fun.
Yeah.
Topspin, what it should have been.
I did a lot of good stuff to the special weapons in Mega Man Maker.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. But I don't have anything more to say about Quint. It just happened to be on my list, and it worked out with a bad joke. But
Thank you.
yeah, it's just like it could have been a contender. but it was just a bouncing pun.
Bounce pun. I guess you could say that his fight really suck Ugarnes.
Oh my god!
Okay, I'm terrible. I'm gonna get out.
Tweet that at me so I can print it out and hang it on my wall.
Okay, you need to take a picture and make sure that you do. Oh my gosh. I guess, should I just get rid of the last one I got on my list?
Yeah.
Alright, the last one I got on my list, and I hate to rain on anybody's parade, but it is Rainy Turtloid from Mega Man X6. That's
Akuma?
Yeah, Akuma, but you know, giant slow turtle form. He's well, that's Magma Dragoon, really, if we're being serious.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
it's the 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, you know what it is. Magma Dragoon doesn't have a move where he turns his back on you and has like a cool thing, which I don't know why they didn't do that. That would have been awesome. But
actually, he does in Corrupted, so it counts.
Oh, shut up. But Rainy Turtloid, he's a big boy. I think he's the largest sprite-based boss that you fight. Honestly,
so.
If we're not counting Illumina
there.
from Infinity Maginian, but that's like a background element. But I believe Rainy Turtloid is the largest sprite-based boss that you fight in any of the Mega Man games. He's humongous. He literally covers like the entire screen. I'm gonna say like three-fourths of the boss room when you fight him. And that's part of why I don't like him, is that you can't really damage him until you destroy both gems on his back where he farts out those cluster missiles. And then by the time you actually rack up some decent damage on him, he starts spinning and moving around. And because he's so big, it's so difficult to dodge him. It's not that you don't understand his pattern, like you can understand it, but there are times where he'll do it or move in such a way where I'm convinced there is no actual way to dodge him and avoid damage just because of how large he is. And
yeah, if you're not like in a certain spot already.
Yeah, if you're not playing it extremely safe and purposely basing your strategy around the possibility that you might have to dodge him in that form, it's just terrible. Other than that, I don't have too much of a problem with him, but that is just so unacceptable to me.
Yeah, forget dodging him when he gets into his desperation phase and start shooting meteor rains around when he's.
Yeah, it just gets to be, it's too much. It's instead of like a bullet hell with Infinity Maginian, it's just one big bullet. He's just constantly whizzing. You know what it is? He's like the quad laser of bosses from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. If anyone knows what that is. Jumping is useless. The bullet is enormous. I don't know. That's him, basically. I don't know. That's how I feel. Rainy Turtloid. Yeah, Rainy Turtloid is the quad laser bullet. He's just a giant chonker, and he bounces around. He wants to be Armored Armadillo so bad, but he's just too big. That's my only complaint. Be smaller, dang it. Or give us a bigger boss room.
Maybe Senpai will notice me.
Yeah.
That's funny because they do pair Armored Armadillo with Rainy Turtloid in next challenge.
Oh, I had a feeling they would.
Oh man, I don't remember it. Like I played through it just the once when it came out. I want to go back through. But...
I would imagine they would have chosen Shield Sheldon, but I guess not.
No, they didn't for some reason. But you know, Electric Spark does chew through Rainy Turtloid's defenses.
Oh yeah, I do remember that now.
Mm-hmm.
And just real quick, since we're talking about worst bosses, can we go by worst boss name since you mentioned Shield Sheldon? Because that's the worst name.
Metal Shark Player?
Metal Shark Player sounds boss, dude.
Okay, first of all, Metal Shark Player doesn't even make sense when you think of what it could be in Japanese. Like, I've heard...
It sounds cool because it's a metal shark.
If he had like a guitar...
If
he had a guitar, then it would have made sense. But
Player Son from X-Dive.
Oh my god, just don't get me started on Rico. All right.
Worst boss name? I'm calling it now. Euro is gonna be a boss.
Oh yeah.
Euro. So I'm pretty. This is
He's gonna
me.
be the mastermind.
Yeah, I'm
Zerp.
Zerp. Oh my god, let's not get into Zerp right now. Quick recap for those who don't know. So I guess we are getting into it. Me and Cole. I told Cole about a fan game I played years ago, which was a pretty decently made fan game. I don't remember what the heck it's called, but at the end, there's a cutscene in a dialogue box. This random like OC Reploid is there, and they're like, something something X, go back to Maverick Hunter HQ and rendezvous with Zerp. And I was like, haha, they typoed 0 because, like, you know, P and O are right next to each other on the keyboard. I'll let it pass. But then when you actually go to the next scene, there's a new character who's like green, and his nameplate in the little like box is actually Zerp, ZERP. And 0 is there in the same scene, so you know that they're not talking about the same, you know. So it's not a typo. There actually is just a character named Zerp, and I just think that's the funniest thing. This is Zerp, so that's 0 right there. Euro is forever Zerp in my eyes. I'm calling it. He's a boss. He's going to be the mastermind, or it's going to be Rico as a plot twist.
Yeah.
Oh god. Getting some Doki Doki Literature Club vibes.
Yeah,
there.
man. I don't know. You friends with anyone named Monica?
That reminds me, I had that glitch in the closed beta test where like a bunch of Ricos just appear on.
Oh, I saw you post about that.
Yeah.
Only Rico.
Only Rico.
Only Rico. Just Rico.
It's always a sign of things to come.
I'm telling you, it's how it's gonna be. I can't wait to see what they do with that.
Been assimilated.
Yeah.
Now we are Rico.
We are exactly. Your what is it? Your video game individuality will be assimilated into my own.
Well, here comes Capcom. We'll leak you next time.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry about that, Capcom. We're just too good for this. What's another stupid boss name? Let's go off of some of those. How about? Can I nominate every single boss from the Mega Man Zero series?
Yeah, because
all their names are ridiculous.
They are.
Yeah.
I
Like,
remember like maybe one being acceptable, and the rest I just like kind of ignored. Like just the names. I'm like, I'm not even gonna try.
Like Cubit Foxstar is like easy to read and understand, but a lot of them are just like, you know, Mechanagagi Belongi Buno or something. I'm like, sorry, what?
It pulled a Final Fantasy 12 and tried to have really like exotic sounding names. I'm like, I don't even want to just begin. So you're a yellow guy, you know, you're a guy with a head, you know.
You know, it can't be much. It's like as if the guy who came up with God Car Machine Oinari decided to name every single boss with that kind of name. That's basically. I can
remember that name.
Well, how could you forget God Car Machine Oinari? You know, it's like such a ridiculous name. Oh my gosh.
God Car Machine Oinari.
That sounds like the kind of like a Dark Souls boss or something. Like a giant mechanical steampunk contraption that has like swords everywhere. That's what it is. God Car Machine Oinari.
Well, we've done Turtloid, but what do we got coming next?
I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
Let's do another X6 one. Let's go with Nightmare Mother.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one other boss that's as bad as Hymax that everyone forgets.
Yeah.
That is a run killer right there.
If you don't go in with like something to charge the metal anchor, then just have fun.
Right.
Oh my god.
Nightmare Mother is actually... Nightmare Mother is the reason why I took Black Zero into my X6 run and the X Marathon, because I need that defense.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Basically, it's kind of similar to Rennie Turtle in a way. Giant hitbox. Just moves side to side all. And there's 2 boxes too, so.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Good luck with that, and the only way you can damage it is these eyeballs that are within the boxes, and they come out every so often to attack you, but it's just chaotic, it sucks, and you know, when it gets to its desperation phase, they get even faster, and it gets almost impossible to dodge.
Yeah, just if you're gonna have a hitbox that large, you need to make sure that at this point the player is capable of having a movement ability or movement tech that lets them dodge it. And when it's just not sufficient, it just kind of it's not really fair. It just kind of feels like you're throwing meteors at the player. It's like, come on, what are we supposed to do in that situation?
It's funny because it does throw meteors at you.
Well, there you go. See, perfect. stupid amoeba.
Right.
It basically just looks like a I don't know, like a bunch of like soap just whizzing around trying to hit you. It's kind of dumb. Stupid nightmare mother.
Jesus, it's so.
As an honorable mention, since we're on Nightmare Mother, I'm also
Yeah.
going to nominate Gate himself.
Yes.
The Gate fight, I think, is BS because he destroys platforms in the room to make you fall. And I'm pretty sure there are certain patterns that he can do where you have to take damage. Or if you don't take damage, it becomes extremely like tight to recover. So even Gate is like, I just feel like X6 was like, someone thought, what if we just made the game really cheap? Like, you know, let's just make the game piss off everyone, and then we'll say like that's, oh, it's not cheap, it's not unfair, it's challenging.
It blows my mind after they went so far to tutorialize you in X5, like, oh, here's how you do this. Made a freaking tutorial stage to like kind of baby you through the game, but now here comes X6, so this is for the.
Yeah, you know, it's the one thing I do
about
praise X6 for is they streamlined a lot of stuff. Like, that's the first game that let you skip navigator calls if you wanted, which is great. I like that. But it's also the game where it's kind of like, you know, I feel like I'm in the movie Galaxy Quest when they have to get to the core of the ship and there's like the room filled with like the giant crushers. It's like a hallway of crushers like slamming all over the place, and like the lead female protagonist is just like, well, screw that. Like, that's basically X6 in a nutshell. Like, what am I supposed to do? You're not even gonna give me a hint.
Just tank it, it's okay.
Just go, yeah, just tank the hit and go, no, don't tank it, because let me tell you something. I've tanked hits before from the stupid silver crushers, now that I actually mention crushers, all throughout X6. Did you know that those can, like, chunk your health bar and kill you instantly, almost?
Yes.
If you get hit by one that's trying to crush you, it will do a normal amount of damage. If you stay inside of it and take contact damage, not crushing damage, it takes out like half your health bar on like an unmodified health bar. It's ridiculous. So if you're stuck inside one, just that's it, you're dead. Just take the L and start over again. I remember I accidentally got knocked into one because I took damage, so I was intangible because they count as enemies, not as like a stage hazard. And I managed to put my hitbox inside of one, got hit again, so it chunked my health, and then a nightmare virus like waddled on screen and then blasted me from across the screen, like from inside of a wall, so I couldn't hit it. But it hit me and kept me inside the crusher, and then it chunked my health again. So, just X6 in and of itself is a bad boss. How about that? Jeez.
I guess the game is thinking that you're clipping through a wall or something when you're inside that object. So it's like, oh, we're gonna give you a ton of damage, so you just die and get it over with.
Yeah, but it's just a normal stage hazard.
Yep.
Okay, like just for the record, I know like we're ragging on X6 a lot, and this always comes up, but personally, I think X6, like, there's a good game in there.
Yeah,
and it's fun enough to play if you like, you know, if you're not going in blind. You know, and it's like the fun thing to say, oh, X6 sucks.
Yeah,
but,
there's a good game in there, but you have to do a little bit of digging first to get to it.
Yeah, you have to know what to do, and then it's pretty all right. I just don't want, you know, like the woodwork to come out and be like, how come all you do is hate X6? Like, no, I enjoy X6 too.
There's a lot wrong with X6, but that doesn't mean it's not enjoyable.
Yeah, I'll play X6 any day over X7.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I tried X7 and I'm just like, this is not fun to play. X6 is fun to play when things are going right. X7 is not fun to play even when things are going right.
It's just boring.
Yeah, it's kind of slow and boring. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Since we've opened the floodgates, can we just burn to the ground?
All right.
Oh yes, it's time.
No, okay. So I just want to point out really quickly. You can leave this in or edit it out, but right when you said, can we just burn to the ground, I got a new subscriber, and like my stupid OBS played the sound effect for it. So you're like, can you just burn to the ground? It's like you activated everyone at the same time.
Awesome.
We're talking about Flame Hyanard over here. He's a bad boss fight, not because he himself is particularly difficult, because I'm pretty sure you can sit in like what is it, the top left corner of the robot horse and he can't hit you or something.
There's a sweet spot on the ridge of the neck, I believe.
Yeah, and he can't hit you from there, so you can just take pot shots. But it's the fact that he constantly says "burn to the ground." I mean, you know what it is. Triangle.
And then,
Oh, you are the cause of my suffering.
oh my god, yeah, those cutscenes when he's just like shouting. I would do my impression of it, but it's like 11:30 at night.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
I have neighbors.
And you know what? In Japanese, it's really not all that bad. Like he just says things much quicker. It's usually just like sounds of pain, like you know, and not burn to the ground, like none of that stuff. It kind of feels like the English clip was too long, and so it just cuts itself off over. So not on top of being really annoying, it also sounds like really low budget because he keeps interrupting himself to say something else.
Oh my god, and he clones himself into like 3 or 4 dudes.
Yeah, why is that a thing he can do?
You also hear, X, can you hear me? Like just over it.
You know, it's.
I love how when he brings back the other 2 guys, he's like, "Arise!"
Yeah. You know what it's like? You feel free to put a clip of this in, but you know that episode of SpongeBob where I think it's Mr. Krabs decides to keep a Krusty Krab open for 24 hours, and he wants to send Squidward home. He does, yeah. Squidward's like, "I want to go home," and he's like, "You honestly expect me to stay here and work with that?" And then it cuts to SpongeBob, and he's like, blah, 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 and then he gets like 2, and then his mouth duplicates, and it's just the same thing twice. That's basically Flame Ironheart in a nutshell.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just. One of him is not enough. They gotta make it worse.
Yeah.
God.
But like as for the fight itself, if you're standing on the neck of the, I don't know what that's supposed to be, a giraffe or something.
Who knows?
It's just a question mark.
Yeah, and I'm curious, what practical purpose did this thing serve before it became a maverick?
I don't know.
It walks in lava.
But you stay on the neck and these missiles come out of it. If it hits you, a mechanic in X7, you fall flat on your butt, and you can't do anything about it. If you fall flat on your butt on that neck, you're falling down. You gotta do the whole fight again.
And he's got like this huge health bar.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's terrible.
For whatever reason, in the English version, they decided the original version of X7 wasn't hard enough, so they gave the bosses even more health.
Oh yeah, you know, because it's not the game wasn't the game wasn't bad. It was just too easy. That's what's wrong with it.
Yeah, totally.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. And just throw more health onto it. I mean, that's what they did with X3. They were like, you know what? These X games are too easy. Let's just throw on a ton of health on everything, make everything do a lot more damage. Oh, and luckily they decided to cut this out. But in the beta for X3, if you take a hit that does too much damage, you fall on your ass.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
I'm like, what?
It's in the betas that were 7 damage in 1 hit, and like it's not for a certain amount of time. It usually lasts until you get hit again, and so like Blizzard Buffalo can knock you down, and you'll just be trapped in the corner.
Yeah, you can get stun locked if you fight a boss and they decide they're gonna.
It's really bizarre. Like, why would they even think that's a good idea?
Like in concept, it sounds like I get it. Like, okay, that's a neat detail, but the problem is that you can't mash out of it, and you can't just move once you hit the ground. Yeah. Like, it'd be one thing if you get hit, and then like if you're not touching anything, like no inputs, like you can see him do the animation. Like, okay, that's nice. But no, you get hit and stun locked, and you have to sit there and finish the heavy breathing animation, which can take a long time. And by that time, you usually just get hit again.
Yeah,
so
it's really strange.
You can
like,
just
the
get
first time I saw it, I thought my game was broke.
Apparently, they thought that was a good idea to bring back.
Yeah, I guess you know.
They had to wait to bring all the good ideas back on that one.
Yeah, X7 was just chock full of good ideas, you know.
Oh man.
Make the game 3D, they said. Make it slower for everyone, they said.
Make dash jumps off the wall the worst thing ever, they said.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, they did make wall jumping worse. Why though?
Yeah.
Hey, what do we do for an armor for X? We got to give him something, right? Hey, have you guys ever played this really cool game called Sonic 3? Let's make that his primary ability.
Yeah, I just got back from the future and people are planking. Now let me show it to you using this Mega Man X action figure.
Yeah, he just does this through the air. Great, make it an armor. Go for it.
It's so cool looking though.
It is such a cool looking armor, but it is such a terrible ability. You know who's
named after the terrible ability?
It is. Last honorable mention. You know who's a terrible boss? Illya. I wouldn't want to work for Illya because if you happen to wander into a restricted area, Illya will put a bullet in the back of your head.
She'll just murder you.
Yo, Illya, according to X6, I believe, murdered no less than 2 of the researchers. I don't know if there's more. I think it's only 2. But she apparently accidentally killed Blizzard Wolfang and intentionally killed Ground Scaravich. So, I want to know...
In X8, she's just regular strength.
Yeah, I want to know what she was packing in the pre-X6 era, where she saw Ground Scaravich wander into Dr. Light's lab, which is a restricted area, and then just killed him. Because X has to hit him with significant... X has to shoot him with significant amounts of force to damage him. So what did Illya do?
It's the X3 Z-Saber.
It must have been. She must have had the X3 Z-Saber and just murked him.
That's why it got nerfed in X4. Like, it's not the same saber.
Exactly. I don't know. All I'm saying is...
It was like, oh, Illya, steal that thing. It looks cool.
Illya is a scary boss. That's all I'm going to say. I wouldn't want to work under her.
Nope.
Oh, man. ShadowRock, do you have any more? I've got one more.
Well, if we're gonna stay on the topic of X7, there's also Red from X7.
Oh, yeah. He's
no,
like
Red!
You're coming with us!
But, yeah, Red is just annoying more than anything. Just like with Gates, Gate is also not a particularly hard fight. It's more the platforming than anything.
Yeah.
If you fall down, you got to start off the fight. Same thing with Red.
Yep.
It just drags out for a long time because most of the time you can't even get attacked. He just turns into clones and warps all over the place, and he knocks you off your butt and you're dead.
Yeah, well, yeah, the thing with Red is, like, a problem with Red that's not with Gate is you have to turn the camera around to find him, and that just sucks.
Well, I had a problem the last time I tried playing X7 that made me just straight up quit. I was trying to fight Splash Warfly, and I gave up because I couldn't control the camera correctly. I was trying to run in one direction, but the camera was trying to automatically turn in the direction that I was running, which would cause me to run in a circle as opposed to just strafe left. And so I was constantly wrestling with the controls to, like, have them move correctly, and then Splash Waterfly would just hit me and I'd fall into the water. And I was just like, this is so frustrating. So the worst boss in X7 is the camera.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta fight, the camera.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah. It's funny that in X7, to control the camera, you gotta do like L1 and R1.
Yeah.
But to change your special weapons, it's the right stick.
Oh, man.
What were they thinking?
They were so close.
It's like someone changed a key binding for their personal playstyle and then forgot to change it, and they were like, it's like that guy who constantly plays on your copy of GoldenEye and sets everything to inverse controls, and you get mad at him. They're like, come on, dude, set it back to what it was.
No, but this is how I like to play. I'm
Yeah.
impressed.
I don't. Yeah, you get the Mad Catz controller, you jerk.
Speaking of incorrect key bindings, there's still that mistake in X6 with Ground Scaravich's technique for 0.
Oh, yeah.
On the description it says, press attack and down, but it's actually attack and up.
And it just launches you into a pit.
Yeah, it just launches you into a pit. If you
the fact that it's up and not down kills so many people, especially on the parts where you need to use the rope thingy, the little rope hook. It's because you have to dash jump from one rope to another, but also kill a nightmare, but also hold up while you're going through the air to make sure that you grab onto the next hook when you're done with your attack. But what happens is you dash jump, you're holding up, you try to swing at the Nightmare Virus, and then you do his like, whoa, and he like just dives intentionally into the pit, and that's it, you're done.
No, he's doing his impression of the glide armor going down.
Yeah, he is.
Man, why can't you jump out of it?
Yeah, you can't cancel it either. There's nothing you can do once you start it. It's idiotic.
Yeah. Well, I've got one more idiotic boss.
All right, what's your boss?
It's one that I hardly ever fight because it's technically optional, but it's the press disposer from X3. Pretty much the thing if you don't fight Godcar Machine, you get the press disposer. Just got the big schnoz. And
I don't remember this boss. Is that the one where Zero is like, I'm gonna go shut down the mechanism back there?
No. It's the one at the end of that. It's here. Let me send you a picture real quick.
Okay.
Basically, what happens is if you kill both Bit and Bite, that's the boss you fight in Doppler Stage 1 at the very end instead of Godcar Machine.
I don't remember which one that is.
Like it sucks because he's got this big old schnoz sticking out of his mouth. I'm not really sure how that works, but and it's pretty much covering his vulnerability spot because it's just like his eyeballs.
Because it's vulnerable.
and like if you break the schnoz, I'm gonna keep saying schnoz.
This thingy. Yeah. I hated that thing.
You break that, and then it just comes down the ground and starts just spilling acid, and it fills up the room. And he can grab you with that claw and just the thing, and then that thing is dropping little robots that shoot at you or trash blocks. It's just it's so annoying.
Yeah, most people prefer to fight Godcar Machine because that boss sucks.
Godcar Machine is so much easier than this guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always hated this boss because when I look at him, he just makes me uncomfortable. He looks weird.
Yeah.
He looks like a hodgepodge of different body parts all strung together. Like the thing on the bottom almost looks like a I don't know, like a monkey's paw or something. Yeah. And then he's got like a mouth, but like inside the mouth is like it's like permanently in this like open position with like a gross tongue thing sticking out. But it's also a nose kind of thing. It's so weird
and it
looking.
Shoots out little acid drips. It's weird.
It's just a weird boss. I don't know what they were. What were they thinking?
What were they thinking?
Were they think?
Yeah, not to quote James Rolfe. What were they thinking?
Yeah. I remember when I first played X3. It was on the X collection actually, because I didn't pick up the Super Nintendo one way back. But I got stuck on this boss forever.
Yeah, he's really hard if you don't like have experience with him.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I would get stuck on this guy too, and I was like, how come sometimes I fight this really cool thing and sometimes I fight this thing? You know, like what's going on? I didn't have like internet to check it, and I never would have even thought to do that. I thought it was just random.
We should dispose of Press Disposer.
Yeah.
Get out.
Press the like button on this video if you agree.
Yes, press the like button if you agree.
Like, comment, you subscribe if you agree.
Dispose of your unsubscribed status and get subscribed.
There we go.
Oh my gosh. So now that we've gotten through our fantastic little gross out boss over here, are there any other horrible bosses that any of you guys can think of to close out on?
I do have two more. They're not like hard bosses. They're just hilarious.
Okay. Now I'm curious.
Yeah. So the first one is Blizzard Buffalo X3. Obviously, there's the glitch where when he charges up the roll, jump, as long as you're in midair, he just goes, I don't see X anywhere. May as well just go the other way then.
I love when I see people exploit that glitch to get him to headbang against the wall.
Yeah.
He just headbutts the wall repeatedly and he can't do anything.
Did you know that in the betas for X3, you can't do that exploit?
Really?
And it was added to the final game because like there was like another bug in that fight. So when they covered up that bug, it made it where he just headbutts the wall.
Well, I hope it was worth it. That's beautiful. Stupid Blizzard Buffalo. This is why you're just a Christmas ornament in Frost Buffalo stage.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's why you're dead in the future.
He's dead in the present if you beat him.
That's true.
Not to mention, most of the bosses in X3 love to crash into the wall for some reason.
Yeah, they crash into the wall and don't know how to jump.
Yes, it's tree.
But X3 is still my favorite. I love you, baby.
I love X3 as well. You're still pretty good. You're good in my book.
Yeah,
More so than X6, even though X6 for some reason gets so much merchandise, and I don't understand why.
It's cool designs.
I mean, it does, but like they're not making merch of any of the cool designs. It's usually just like things advertising X6, like Capcom's still trying to recoup their losses from it. You know what I mean? Like I keep seeing like wallets and posters, and now there's Nightmare Zero model kit from Kotobukiya, and it's like that could have been any version of Zero. It could have been Black Zero, who's got many different incarnations, but no, you made it the one version of Zero that appears in one game. You know, and there's just so many. If you look, like, you'll find there's a lot more things advertising X6 merchandise-wise than you would think is necessary. And I would think X4 would be the one, because that's the one everyone, like, almost unanimously loves. So it's strange to me that there's not that much X4 merchandise, except for that one time where they made a keychain and a deck of cards, which I own.
I have a deck of cards. But it's like how back in the day there was X3 merchandise when, you know, most people say that's the weakest out of the original trilogy. Well, but then like all the Mega Armor stuff was, you know, started at X3 and was based heavily around that.
Yeah, I think X3,
X1, you know?
X3 had a lot going for it, I think, because it was also ported to Saturn and PlayStation. And also PC. And so I feel like, again, as a way of kind of recouping some of their losses, they were like, hey, let's push this one really hard. But also, they had the Mega Armor series, which was doing stuff for other properties, like the Mega Missions or whatever they were, the Cardass things or whatever those things were.
Series.
So I'm guessing that they probably just rolled all that together, and so it was easier to kind of do that. So, like, you'll notice that there's, like, Mega Man X3, and then there was, like, Mega Man 8 model kits, but there isn't too many for X4, which is odd. Like, I have a fourth armor...
Like just the basic armors forward.
I have a fourth armor kit from that Mega Armor series, but it's not advertised as X4. It actually says X5.
X5, yeah.
So it's like strange that like they pushed really hard for X3, and then they did nothing for X4. They did that one armor, the fourth armor, and labeled that as X5, and then I think they repackaged Zero with like an X5 label on it. But then they went and made a Shadow armor and a Falcon armor. Like, oh, there was also the Gaia armor too, I guess. But still, they made the Shadow armor as like a collect all the Dragon Balls kind of situation, like where you had to get special versions of the kits that had parts of the Shadow armor just like in the game. And then also you had to do the same thing for the Falcon armor, but then there was these really rare Falcon armor kits that they also made. I don't know. It's just strange to me that X6 got so much attention, weirdly.
There's an X6 lunchbox.
Yeah, it's what's with this? Like, if this was like X4, I'd be like, okay, great, I loved X4, but like I don't like X6, so why would I want to get all this merchandise with X6 emblazoned on it?
Yeah, that's weird because X4 is, you know, commonly considered like the best X game, if not X1.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's got like a bunch of characters like Iris and...
Yeah, it's very toyetic. Where's my Colonel model kit? Kotobukiya, get on that.
Double,
Right?
Kodo, get on Iris, Colonel, and General model kits. I will pay $120, whatever it costs, to get like a General model kit that's like... It doesn't have to be 2 scale, because that'll be ridiculous.
That would be crazy, yeah.
But I would happily get a really large General model kit and build that. Come on, please.
No, can
X4 representation.
Can we just get General's chair? That's
General's chair, the one that explodes.
Yeah, I want to get 2 of the chair kits. I'll have one pristine, and then one I'll throw in a blender for a few minutes.
Yeah,
and then set it on my display afterwards.
I like how General's so large that he materializes into the room when you enter. He's not on screen, and then all of a sudden Like,
Yeah, he just
Poof.
boom, there he is. He's just on screen and in his chair, which I didn't know he owned up to this point.
I just love how he just casually destroys his chair when he gets. It's like, okay, man.
He had like a really sick bean burrito for lunch.
Isn't it
just
weird
like-
how General and Sigma are the same size in the opening cutscene for X?
So
Oh yeah.
So here's my theory for that. Is that General has multiple bodies because it wouldn't be practical for him to be that large all the time.
That's true. That'd
My-
have to be a big house they're in.
My theory is that he has like a smaller 2-scale body that he uses for like everyday things, and then for like actually fighting and for like, you know, military speeches and whatnot when he needs to be big and imposing, he like switches over to like his primary body, which is like the huge one. That's
Well,
my
maybe
theory.
Maybe he can just grow. You know, like how Double just changes like
Oh,
completely.
he pulls like an Ultraman or something and just gets
Yeah.
huge. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Capcom, we need answers. We need answers, Capcom.
Man, speaking
No
of
choice.
General though, he is an awful boss fight at Zero.
Oh, he
yeah.
sure is.
Yeah, if you're not doing the one exploit, then yeah, he's
Yeah.
even that is like kind of tough to get used to.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, was that your actual other one, or is this just
Nope.
okay.
The other silly one is Toadman for making it. He does the dance, do the rain flush. He just boop. Oh well, let me try dancing again. Boop.
Yeah, just throw an
Hey,
egg in his
quit
face.
that.
Stop it. And then
Aw,
just
poor
pair that with the
Toadman.
Ruby Spears Toadman face.
Oh no.
Got a recipe for greatness.
Yep.
Toadman is just great. He's very underappreciated. Everyone should love the silliness of Toadman. He's like
silly,
all the
yeah, that boss
silliness
fight.
that you wish that you got out of Bubble Man.
Man, the first time I fought Toadman, because you know it's the first game to give you the charge shot, and I'm like, I'm gonna charge up on this guy so hard, and I lost. You know, because I never played 4 before. I'm
He
like,
just
okay,
danced on
I'm
you,
doing
yo.
something wrong, and I just like threw an egg at him, and it's like, oh.
Oh, that's
What a
unfortunate.
goober.
Now I feel
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
He's like, let me show you my dance moves. Come on. No, bad Toadman.
No, come on, just let me show. No, come on, just let me. No.
It's like spraying a cat with like a water bottle. No, bad. Stop that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's my list in a nutshell.
Yep, that's all I've got.
Yeah, I think I'm just about spent as far as terrible bosses go. I think we listed pretty much all the ones. Hey, let us know down below if there are any terrible bosses that you guys hate down in the comments. Go ahead and let us know what that is. And is there, speaking of Toadman, are there any bosses that you love to exploit using their weakness or anything like that? What is your favorite boss to get in a loop? I always love hearing stories like that.
Oh,
Or
Astroman.
maybe there's one that we listed that you absolutely love. Tell us why.
Yeah, if we listed a boss that you really love and you're like, this is my favorite boss ever, how dare you? Let us know down in the comments why. I'm curious to know what your reasoning is.
It's no hard feelings, you know. This is our
Yeah.
personal.
Don't listen to us. We're just a bunch of goons, okay? Everyone is more than welcome to enjoy whatever they like, even if it's X6.
Well, thank you. I'm glad.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We get you.
Alrighty.
But, yeah, thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed Mega March. And yeah, just thank you for all the support. And check these guys out. There'll be links in the description. And just, I don't know, thank you. I can't say it enough.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, like we got along so well. I forgot that this is the first episode we've done together. ShadowRock, thank you so much for being on.
No problem, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope to have you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Likewise.
All right.
Thank you everyone for making Mega March super awesome, and I hope that we'll see you guys next year for the next Mega March.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
Rock on.